Good day, everybody. I'm Anthony Longhair Leclerc here with Leclerc Studios, and this is my wonderful friend who's joining me, or I'm joining him rather, in his house. This is the Sergeant in Charge, Sergeant Ray Cameron.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Ray Cameron. I'm a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, serving in the Royal Canadian Air Force at 22 Wing North Bay. I'm a proud serving member of 21 Aerospace Control Warning Squadron. I'm an aerospace control operator by trade, and we watch the skies all over the country.
I can't see much of it from here. So, what music do you listen to, man?
My music tastes varied over the years since childhood. Growing up, I was a different kid from all my friends. We shared a lot of things in common, but there were some things that were different. Not many kids, little kids, were listening to CCR or The Doors or The Stones. I loved all that stuff, and it stuck with me. My favorite band, one of my favorite bands, actually my most favorite band, is the Eagles, and it's struck a chord with me, pun intended. Um, Growing up as a kid, I never listened to the popular radio station that the kids listened to. I listened to the rock station in London, Ontario, where I grew up, and that was CKSL 1410 on your AM dial. That's how they used to say it. And it's like, yes, that's where 1410 would be.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun doing that. Listen to that. It felt good, and plus, my dad he had really good taste in music. He's a Led Zeppelin 2 album.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, so he was my introduction to a lot of the genres that I listened to. He introduced me to classical music. My first classical album I ever listened to was the movie soundtrack to 2001: A Space Odyssey,
That's awesome.
and it was incredible. I still listen to it to this day. I still listen to it. It takes me back, and that's what a great thing about music is. It is a vehicle. It's its own time machine because it can take you back in time to happier memories. So, my fellow veterans and current serving members, if you find yourself in troubled times, find a song that takes you back to childhood, a song that takes you back to a field of beautiful memories. It's a great vehicle to take you there and sustain you there. And when you're picking up an instrument, whether it's a guitar, it could be a recorder, it could be a flute, it could be the keyboard, it could be a harp, it doesn't matter. The music will carry you there and will take great care of you. As for other types of music, a recent thing that I have come to greatly appreciate through yourself and local North Bay, Ontario blues legend, Mr. Jake Thomas. Jake, thank you very much. We'll get into that, I'm sure, a little bit later. Yes. Jake.
To Jake.
Yeah. And there's a story behind how I got put together with Jake. Classic rock, because growing up, has always been a thing. I've never been a fan of the pop music scene. It never really registered with me at all. So classic rock, the blues, classical. In 1992, I got posted to Four Wing, Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada's fighter town. That's where the fighter pilot school is for the Royal Canadian Air Force fighter pilots. I was very privileged to be a member of 441 Tactical Fighter Squadron, the Silver Foxes. They used to have a checkerboard on tops of the tails. And
The Silver Fox, everybody.
yeah, it's chrome. No.
I was talking about the guitar.
Yeah. And that's when, yes, that's the name of the guitar is actually the Silver Fox. When I got there, I was introduced to country music, and I'd heard of it, of course, but never really listened to it. And then I got introduced to it from an old friend of mine, and I met in 1992. We're still friends to this day. That would be Jim Templeton's. Jim, thank you very much for introducing me to one of my favorite genres of music, cowboy music.
Jim.
Not just cowboy, country and western, but cowboy music.
Yippee-ki-yay.
So listen to country music, cowboy music. Then I went through, kind of reverted back to classic rock, and it just kind of, I find that music kind of helps you relate to what you're going through. I had released from the Canadian Armed Forces voluntarily in early 1997. In March 2002, I re-enrolled in the Canadian Armed Forces following the events of September 11th, 2001. The music, my taste in music again, it kind of reverted or evolved, and it, it matched what I was doing. So, with learning about aerospace control operations, surveilling the skies, watching out for fellow citizens when they're flying, taking part in support to search and rescue operations if people are missing. That part of that, one of the critical lines for me in the Canadian Armed Forces is standing on guard for thee. And being a member of this career field as an aerospace control operator, one of the things we do is provide support to the Joint Rescue Coordination Centers in Canada, and we do that through radar recordings. We can go in for live data and take a look. What's taking place right now, we can look for aircraft that are signaling signs that there's issues on board. I won't go into what those issues could be. We'd be here for quite a while. We don't do that. So you go and do that, and the music, because it needs to be pretty fast paced when you're dealing with aircraft that are traveling hundreds of miles per hour. So, and people on board want you there. That's what we signed up for. In 2015, I was promoted to rank of sergeant when I was still in Winnipeg and posted here to North Bay, back to my home squadron, the Pt.1 squadron. But unfortunately, the music did not follow me. There was a large emptiness inside. It's a bit difficult to talk about. It was a void. And it was terrible. And it was an unbelievable absence. It was terrifying because there was just nothing there. You could inside you could yell, and there's no sound inside. You're trying to yell and trying to do something, feel something, and there was nothing. Friends of mine here in North Bay, who are some of them are no longer here. Master Warrant Officer Donnie Smith, Master Corporal Tom Chester, Master Corporal Marcus Goldade, all owned Harleys, and I had a Honda bike that I owned at the time, a great bike, and I was looking at trading up to a full dresser Harley Davidson. So I went to Sudbury, Ontario. That's the home of The Rock, Harley Davidson. Thank you very much to The Rock. And I wound up buying a motorcycle from a salesman named Colin. Colin, thank you very much. And I still have that bike today. It is, I absolutely love that bike. I love that bike like I love my guitars. And
you don't get to play with it as often, though.
No, I don't get to play with it as often, no. I thought about getting spiked tires, but I don't think the bags would like that the amount of times you're going to go down on the ice. So.
That's fair.
One of the salesmen there, his name is Johnny Rock. Okay, that's his stage name. He's a performing artist in Sudbury and surrounding area, and he's an amazing musician, and he's a great all-around human being. Johnny, thank you very much for your efforts at the Rock Harley Davidson. He brought in Guitars for Veterans. They were having an event at the Rock called Rock the Rock. So he invited Guitars for Veterans to come up. They came up. I asked them, what's this? So they told me, and got involved with them, and it was free to sign up. They set me up with Jake Thomas as an instructor. Jake, as I said, is a North Bay legend. He has performed with people like Jeff Healy and Liberace, and there's been many others. He's a great talent that he's performed with. So this is he's no lightweight, obviously. And Jake is a phenomenal. He's a phenomenal, gentle instructor. He doesn't like to be called a teacher, but he taught me a lot in just very, very few short seconds. 20 seconds, and he taught me how to play my first chord. It was a C chord, and where it took instructors years, they could never teach me anything. At that point, that's when the light came on.
So you tried a few times before with other instructors to get a handle on guitar?
Yeah, and I could never get past the basics, the first 3 frets of the strings. I could never get past it. I couldn't understand what they're saying about chords. Either teach yourself books, none of it worked for me. and I've always had a problem with learning, and I can learn. It just takes me quite a while to do it sometimes, depending on the subject, but most things it takes quite a while. So they connected me with Jake, and in 20 seconds, like I said, he had me playing the C chord. And from there, it was, even now, right now, I got goosebumps on my back because just reliving it it's still a very raw moment in life for me. That's when the light came on. That's when I discovered I'm still alive. And it's pretty overwhelming.
So Jake deserves another sip, is what you're saying?
So Jake.
Jake,
thank you. And from there, I started learning chords. And that's when music and all avenues that I was previously interested in, from childhood up to present, started returning to mind, to memory. Music kind of saved my soul, if you will. Saved my life, saved my soul. I wasn't in danger of hurting myself, but music really took me to a place I could never, ever have imagined. It was amazing. And then in 2016, I bought my first guitar in North Bay. Thank you very much, Tony, at Long and McQuaid, North Bay. Back then it was Music City. And to the entire staff of Long and McQuaid here in North Bay and your various stores throughout the country, wherever I've been to, you have been a fantastic source of support. So thank you very much.
And you're even rocking their merch.
Yeah, we're rocking their merch. That's right, the Long and McQuaid shirt. In 2017.
Wait, what was the first, before we move on that far, what was the first guitar you bought?
The first guitar, well, before we go on the first guitar I bought, the first guitar, electric guitar I got in North Bay, donated to me by Guitars for Veterans. And Johnny Rock at the Rock Holly Davidson said, Ray, I heard you're looking for an electric guitar. You're looking to buy one. And I said, yes, I am. He goes, well, did you get a free guitar from Guitars for Veterans? And I said, no, I didn't. Would you like one? And I went, well, yes, please, and thank you very much. And he presented me with this. This here is a Squier Stratocaster. It's a brand that is owned by Fender. Fender, thank you very much for a fine instrument. Squier and the good people at Squier, thank you very much for a good instrument. This guitar's name, and they're all named, and we'll get into that later. This guitar's name is Johnny Rock. And I don't know if you can see it. Can you just take that from me? Thanks. Harley strap, care of my awesome brother and sister-in-law. Thank you very much, Jeff, Megan. Love you and the whole family very, very much. Because they got the Harley, and they thought, let's get them a guitar strap. And it's like, yes, there's only one guitar that this can go on, and this is Johnny Rock. Johnny, this is the guitar that's named after you. I'll just put Johnny Rock back here in the rack.
I love that the strap is a guitar, man.
Absolutely.
It's an ongoing theme, I think, in
a
lot of your guitar.
There seems to be that, yes. The first guitars I bought at Music City, as it was known then, I bought a Fender Coronado 2, but I didn't buy it right away. There was another guitar that first caught my eye because I didn't see the Coronado 2, and they were the same price. That guitar was a beautiful blue Gretsch. Now I looked at that, and I'm kind of a sucker for the color blue. Go figure, I'm in the Air Force. Holding on to a gray guitar, painted the same as an F-18, I might add. I hadn't seen the Coronado 2 yet. The Coronado 2 is painted in Sunburst. And Sunburst, to me, is, I'm going to hand this to you again. Okay. I'll get the Coronado 2 out. This is a Fender Coronado 2. And the reason why I'm so taken with the Sunburst is that the outskirts is the darkness. And I look at that as the outskirts of the body, and the sound and light are related. If you don't believe me, you can Google that. The light pushes out the darkness. The sound pushes out the darkness. So let sound fill the darkness. Sound will bring light. Light will bring joy and peace. It takes time. It takes practice. And there's no such thing as bad practice. Just some practices are better than others.
But ain't that the truth?
So this is a Coronado 2, and it's made in, this one particular one's made in China. It's a great guitar, and they're all my favorites. No parent loves a child more than the others. So there's that. And then I also bought my first acoustic guitar in North Bay. I had others in the past, and it's buried in the back there. It's a Black Navigator by Yamaha, a CPX 500. It's a great guitar, holds its tune like there's no tomorrow. Great guitar, but they're all fantastic guitars.
Speaking of which,
yeah. Speaking of which, so I bought those in 2016. 2017, Music City had closed and was taken over, I believe, or it was sold to Long McQuaid. I don't mean to misspeak on behalf of the family of Music City or the business of Long McQuaid. I don't know the full business details. But what was Music City became Long McQuaid. I think that's more appropriate because I don't know full details. And much of the staff remained, and I'm very grateful to say that it's been wonderful for me. Of course, some of the staff have moved on to other ventures, and I hope they're doing well. Then it came time for Long McQuaid to move locations in North Bay, and they went from their old location in downtown North Bay down to the Lakeshore Boulevard. And I went there for the grand opening. When I was there was this young man in a long jacket and a cowboy hat. And I was in my truck, sitting nice and warm. And that young man was standing outside the doors, waiting for the doors to open. We were both kind of early birds. That young man happened to be this young man.
Who had cycled through the snow that morning to go to the grand opening.
Yes. So I opened the window and said, "Hey, buddy, do you want to come inside and not be in the cold?" He was a little reluctant. And I said, "Look, I'm in the military. Why don't you jump in the truck, get warm, put your bike in the box of the truck if you want, and we'll get to know each other. Just say hi, and just you can get warm. You don't need to sit out there in the cold and the humidity." Because it was just below zero and the snow was pretty heavy and a little bit of freezing rain, I think, too.
It was the first full snow we had, and it was 6 inches of snow or more.
Yeah.
Maybe? Yeah.
And so we got to know each other. We started talking about guitars and scotch and whiskey. Whiskey? Well, now you really got my attention. And we both kind of have a little bit of a similar sense of humor there. And and mine's a little more twisted. There's a few more decades.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
A little more experience of twisting.
Yes. And we went in and started talking as we're going around looking at things. He was looking at, I'm looking at what I'm looking at. We kept kind of bumping into each other throughout. It was kind of interesting. And friendship developed at that point, and one which I'm very grateful for. Anthony is very, very, very gracious with and very patient with teaching an old dog new tricks, literally.
You're not that old.
What's that?
You're not that old.
Oh, Sunday. Wait, yeah. Well, the insides would tell you otherwise.
Well, you're not getting any younger, but you're not that old.
That's true. That's true. My taste in music grew from that point, from when our friendship began. And Anthony had invited me to his, was it Thursday evening first or Tuesday evening first?
It was
Tuesday.
Yeah, it was
Tuesday night jams because I went to trivia and then came afterwards.
So the Tuesday night jams took place, and he said there's gonna be other people there. Bring your guitar, and we're gonna have you play along. And I'm like, Anthony, I can barely play chords. I only know a few chords, and I'm not that good. I'm not gonna play with people who are really good players like yourselves and your friends that are musical.
I'm not that great.
And he said, "Don't worry about it. We'll play around you. We'll learn how. We've all been where you are, and we'll play around you." I'm like, okay, sure, thanks. I'll let me think about it, and let me think about it, because I was struggling with my own issues, still struggling, and I thought, you know what, do it. What's it gonna hurt? So I did, and people there played around me, and we were doing that a number of times, and then one of your friends, now one of my friends as well, showed up. Emma showed up. And Emma, thank you very much. She's a major part of my growth as well. Emma. And Emma was on keyboard. And Emma said, play what chords you're comfortable with, chord transition that you like, and I'll play along with you. And don't worry about if you make a mistake, play through it and just keep going. And I did. And that's when I got to play along with another instrument other than, because we just been playing together on guitars, whether it was at your place or at the previous house I was living in. And it's like, hey, and then eventually we got to the bunch of us all playing. And then this is why musicians are really great, because they really do remember what it's like to start out all from knowing nothing. And I was really self-critical with the learning, which is never healthy. So all my brothers and sisters out there, I know it's difficult, but you have to get over the self-critical thing, because in life, everyone is their own worst critic, and the criticisms are really not founded, okay? You're far better than you think.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So the other musicians, they explained things to me in a way that was just fascinating. And they said, Ray, is any baby when they're born capable of running a marathon? Well, of course not. Same with musicians. You're starting out in baby steps. When parents are raising their children, when they're little babies, they're little toddlers, when they're learning to walk, do you hear any discouragement? Well, no. Right, because we're encouraging. There's no misstep. And just laugh with it. Look what a baby does. A baby falls down when it's learning to walk. They're having a good time with it. Do the same with an instrument when you're learning to play. You make a mistake, laugh with it. It's okay, because out of the mistakes is going to come a lesson. Okay, and those lessons are going to be gold. And the sooner you get that into your mind and your heart, the sooner you'll be at peace with yourself, and you'll be able to catch on to music. Music helps you learn other things in life too. So that led us up to listening to some albums on vinyl at your place, some old records. And then one time, Marla showed up. And Marla joined the crowd. So here's the list. After a glass to Marla. Marla, thank you very much for your help in my walk.
Thanks,
You're
Mom.
very welcome.
She's helped me a bit too.
Yeah.